Good afternoon. I won't preach long, just because I understand the length of our celebration today, but I just want to share a few thoughts with you. This past week, the family pet Heidi came to visit Queen of All Saints Rectory, and she arrived on Tuesday evening, and she left on Thursday morning. And while I don't have any interesting little anecdotes or any kind of unique experiences with Heidi to share to you, I just have one simple question. How can a 24-inch, 9.8-pound, long-haired dog completely rearrange my life, disorient me, and completely eliminate my autonomy? I'm the one who's supposed to be in control. I'm the master. But clearly that is not what is happening here. And yet she's so small. And that's what really gets me. In our culture, we are very much focused on size. We want things that are really, really big. The bigger the better. Or we hear things like supersize me. Big isn't large isn't enough, supersize me. Or we hear there's always 33% more. Or something is 50% bigger. We can get anything we want that's large. But maybe we need to shift our focus. Maybe the things that are big are not really that powerful. And that's exactly the message that we hear in this passage reading from the Gospel of Matthew. Things that are big are not that powerful. We all know how the story ends. We know the big players in the story. We know about Peter. We know about Judas. We know about James and John and Andrew. We know about all the disciples. And because they're major players in the story of Jesus' ministry, we would expect big things. But notice what happens. It's Peter who denies Jesus. It's Judas who betrays our Lord. All the disciples are scattered. And so the ones who we thought would be the big players aren't at all. And that's why we need to pay special attention to the smaller characters in the story. Because they're the ones who teach us or what it means to really be disciples of Jesus. They're the ones who really help us understand what our Lord is calling us to. We need to pay attention to the person of the centurion. At the very end of the story, we only hear about the centurion one time. And yet it's the centurion who's standing watch over the crucified Lord who does what? Professes his faith. Truly, this was the Son of God. And we hear about the women who followed Jesus from Jerusalem or from Galilee. We only hear about them one time at the end of the story. And yet what did all of those women do? They were faithful to Jesus at the foot of the cross. And then we hear about Joseph of Arimathea. Again, we only hear about Joseph one time at the end of the story. We know from Matthew's account that Joseph of Arimathea is a wealthy man. And what does he do? He offers our Lord a proper burial. He uses his resources to pay his respect to our Lord by having his own tomb, which was hewn out of rock, given to our Lord. The message here that Matthew offers us is very, very simple. God doesn't call us to do great things. God calls us to do small things with great love. We've heard that repeated many times by Blessed Mother Teresa. God calls us not to do great things, but to do small things with great love. That's what we need to be about. And when I think about Heidi and the 36 hours that she spent with me, she didn't ask me for great things. She didn't ask me to make enormous sacrifices. She just wanted little bits of attention many times throughout the day. And our Lord's asking the same gift of us. If we're going to be his disciples, if we're going to share in his resurrection, if we're going to share in the glory that's been revealed to us, he's only asking us for that small thing. He wants us to offer our attention to him in small ways, many times throughout the day.